morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the gentle chaos that is Sovana Crafts. This is a crafting podcast that is about knitting, crochet, sewing, and a lot of other crafting that is associated with my hobbies that are mostly creating my handmade wardrobe or cosplays and costumes. My name is Vatra. I live in Czech Republic, which is a small country in the heart of Europe, and I live here in a second largest city, Brno, with my boyfriend and our dog, Princess Servilla. And yeah, this is the podcast episode about the month of June. Somehow the month disappeared. I don't know what happened, but that's perhaps a standard lately. Ahead of us it's some acquisitions, quite a lot of works in progress, old and new, and no finished object today. Sorry. As I said, I don't know what happened. I thought that I'm doing a lot of crafting, but apparently on many things at once, so nothing got done. That's fine. That's okay. So yeah, that's about the standard stuff. I will also give you some updates on my upcoming cosplay that I'm working on. And then I would like to talk about sock knitting a little bit. Show you what socks did I knit so far, from what materials, and how they were. So let's do this. So today, a little bit non-standardly, I would like to start with acquisitions because it's related also with what I'm wearing. As you can see, I'm not wearing my knit, so that's unusual, but it's very much related to knitting. So back in September, I believe, I supported a Kickstarter that's called Yarn Fire Club. So I bought a package that included this lovely t-shirt that's inspired by the Stranger Things, as you can perhaps tell. Maybe you remember the Hellfire Club in the last season. That was basically a bunch of students playing Dungeons and Dragons, so very relatable. And another part of this package was some sock yarn minis. So I will show you what I got. Ta-da! Oops. These are the skeins. So let me show you one by one. Perhaps there is this lovely speckled rainbow light color. Then there is this one that I feel it's very, like, this is screaming for a season of Stranger Things, like the upside down stuff like that. That's really, yes. Then we have this gray with red and blue tones, which is absolutely amazing. Oh, this one is great. So again, very contrasty. One bit is like yellowish, second is red, but then on the other side it blends to an orange. That's amazing technique. Love it. Oh, I don't know anything about yarn dyeing, by the way, so maybe, you know, this feels magical to me. Maybe it's something really standard and normal. I don't know, I can't tell. And yeah, the last one is like this neon-y, like fuchsia, purple, blue. Again, going to like a darker, bigger contrast here, and then blending here into this purple. So amazing, really 100 grams in total. And I also got some stickers with it. So yeah, I'm really happy that the package arrived finally. It was a little bit delayed. I think the original plan was to supply those in January or February. But yeah, it was in June and it was worth waiting for it. So I will put these minis next to my other ones. I have mostly minis from advent calendars. And then I will try to figure out what to do with it. If you have any ideas what to do with 20-gram minis, any like scrap projects or shawls or sweaters or tops that don't require a fade, let me know. I will really appreciate if you have any suggestions. So yeah, that's the first acquisition. There will be more. Today it's a little bit like more on the acquisition side. So next stuff, I ordered some yarn from Woolpoint. That's Czech online and also like a non-online standard stone shop in Prague. And they host a knit-along with Caitlin Hunter. Yeah, Caitlin Hunter. Sorry, I had to check my notes here. Again, I have my notes. So I already picked a project that I want to make. It's a Naveli top, I believe it's called. It's like a sleeveless top that has color work on the bottom. I really love the concept. The original is from 3 colors, but 2 of them are dark and 1 is light, so I thought I can make it just from 2 colors. So maybe 3 months ago I purchased, you might remember, these spin cycle. So I already have those in my stash, and this is my contrast color for this project. And then I thought I need a main color, and my original idea was dark purple. And since Woolpoint is hosting this knit along, it only made sense for me to buy from them. So I was looking for a contrast color. I was quite unsuccessful. I was still waiting for the good shade that I needed. And then they got Malabrigo, and there it is. That's precisely what I wanted. Precisely what I wanted. So dark purple, a little bit on the maybe like aubergine side. It's Malabrigo, so it's not like 100% solid. It's a little bit more, yeah, there are color differences for sure. And yeah, this is how they will look together. So I don't think there's any color in this that will completely disappear in these, that they are really so much darker that it will make the color like sink nicely in it. So I can finally cast this on, although as you will see later, I have quite a lot of works in progress, so I will perhaps focus on finishing some first before I jump into it. But yeah, this is my next acquisition, and the good thing about this knit-along that they host is that it's for the full year, so I still have, you know, half of the year to make this done. And since I was ordering from them, I couldn't resist, and I also ordered another self-striping yarn. This is my favorite brand. It's Westyorkshire Spinners. They make several collections of self-striping yarns. I purchased last year, I purchased quite a lot of their country birds colors that they are inspired by different birds like blue-tit, kingfisher, mallard, so local basically to me birds. And this one is inspired by a cocktail, I believe, and it's called Passionfruit cooler. Yeah, purple, yellow, khaki, quite an original color combination, I would say. And it spoke to me, so I added it to the basket when I was purchasing the Malabrigo. Worth it. Next one, we're not done yet. We're not done yet at all. Yeah. Next one is a gift. Now, at the end of May, I had birthday, and we celebrated it in June. So I received some knitting-related gifts. So first of all, I received this skein from my boyfriend's sister. It's from Kremke Soul wool, which is a brand that I don't have any experience with so far. That's exciting. It's called Lazy Lion, and it's super soft sock yarn from South African merino, and it's hand dyed. It says it's hand dyed, and it's beautiful, beautiful. Dark blue, aquamarine, really light spring green, purple, brown, a lot of colors there. So that's exciting. I still need to figure out what I will do with this, but yeah, maybe this will be a nice one because it's 100 grams. This might be a nice one for some sort of like small shawl, you know, these One Skein Wonders. We'll see. So this is the first thing. And then my boyfriend and his family gave me another present, a big one. So I'll show you part of it. Another part is in the cupboard, and I didn't want to put it out because it's quite like in the bottom. And that's yarn Winder. So yeah, you perhaps know this little wonder. It's basically for winding yarn from these skeins into something you can work with when you're processing the yarn, knitting, crocheting, whatever. So yeah, I really wanted this, and now I have it. So I was, as you can imagine, I was winding yarn for several, well, maybe not hours, but for quite a long time when I got it, because I really appreciated that I can finally have some solid balls of yarn that I can use. Yeah, so that was the biggest biggest gift I got, and it's amazing. I really appreciate it. I'm really happy that I have it. And that we're moving to the last one, finally. I'm speaking so long that I start feeling a little bit bad for all these things, but it happens, right? So maybe a little bit of introduction for the last piece. I used to spin a lot, maybe 3 to 5 years ago, and then I stopped because I started knitting. I crocheted more and more, so I didn't have time to pursue all these hobbies. But last week I saw some advertisement from Mokoša. That's a Slovak producer of wool. I will try to find, yeah, this is their logo. And they produce yarn and fibers from Slovak sheep. Slovakia is a country next to Czech Republic, so it's practically local to me, and we have shared history. So yeah, we're brothers and sisters basically. So when they announced that they will be selling packages for Tour de Fleece, I got hyped and excited about spinning again. So I bought one. Now Tour de Fleece is a spinning event that goes along with Tour de France, which is also a spinning event, but in bicycle spinning versus spinning wheel spinning. So what happened is, and I don't know what the origin of the Tour de Fleece event is, but spinners just realized that they can spin along the sport people. And as the competitors spin throughout France, they can sit by their spinning wheels or spindles and just spin some yarn with them. So the event started yesterday. Today is July the 2nd, by the way, so it starts at the beginning of July and it goes all the way through 21st, maybe even more, July. So it's several weeks of spinning basically. There are different stages of the event. Basically, there are days when you're supposed to spin normally, then there are like challenge days where you're supposed to spin maybe something new or something more challenging that you're usually not doing. And that's when the where sports spinners basically have some challenging etaps too. And then there are rest days when they don't compete, and so the spinners just take a day off too. The yarn spinners. This is getting this is quite challenging to explain. In Czech there are different words for that, so it's not that confusing, but then the event doesn't make sense. So yeah, spinners. Anyway, long story short, I bought one package from them. It's called spinning box, Vatra. Vatra means like campfire, and it has several yarns, fibers. I will try to show you. It looks like this. Please don't leave. Like this. Yeah, it's a box full of fibers. I already started spinning one. I'll show you later in the works in progress, but I started spinning from this one. Now, next I have some pieces like this, and I don't have any experience with it. I know that they are usually used for like art yarns. So we'll see how I end up using them. And then there was this one bat that I just showed you, and I will show you more. And then there are four packages like this with different fiber content. This one, for instance, is like a mixture of 6 different fibers. I can tell you. It's Suffolk 32%, Charolais 22%, Caisson 17%, Merino 16%, Suffolk, Valashka 10%, and Alpaca 3%. A lot of it, all at once, with this beautiful faded gray color. So that's one. Then there are 3 natural, like white. Oh, I think this one is natural too, but it's darker. And then there are 3 more on the light side. One is, oops, sorry, trying to find out, Texel. This one is Valashka. That's like a local breed, I assume. And the last one is Suffolk. Suffolk. I guess it depends where you live. Okay, so I will be making a lot of natural yarn, and I'm excited for it. I will mostly focus on spinning this week and the next one. Well, next 2 weeks, because then we are leaving for holiday and we will be traveling a lot. So for sure, and we won't be traveling by car. So for sure I won't be taking a spinning wheel with me. Maybe a spindle, but I prefer Turkish spindle, and that's also a little bit harder to travel with, I assume. I will see. Maybe I will finish my Tour de Fleece a little bit sooner because of that, but I will work a lot before that. So yeah, next time a lot of yarn as finished objects. Exciting. And that finally concludes the longest acquisitions part to date. Moving to works in progress. So, as I already told you, I don't have any finished objects today, so I will just show you some progress on the things in progress that I have this month. There are some old and some new. There's a lot of it, actually. Yeah, I was busy. So we will start with the old ones this time. I made some progress on the Mandalove shawl that I was neglecting for some time. Now, the reason I got inspired to work on it again, I'll show you the progress, is that this was originally planned as a birthday gift. Christmas gift. So I thought I have quite a lot of time to work on it until December, right? That's months from now. But then we regrouped a little bit with my boyfriend and decided that we will gift something else for Christmas. So this suddenly became a birthday present, and the birthdays of that person that I want to give it to is in July. A couple of weeks from now. So yeah, I had to pick up speed on this project. So last time, this is the progress keeper. Sorry, last time I was around here. This yarn is 1,800 meters. and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, which means it goes through 4 different hues. That's how I count how far I am in that shawl and ball, by the way. So last time, where's the progress keeper? I don't see it anymore. Never mind, this. Last time I was somewhere at the end, well, mid the second hue, basically. Since then, I finished it and I went through the third one. And now I started the fourth, which is with the blue color. You can see it here on this side. And this is the remaining. So there's 7 portions, 7 parts of this pattern, and now I'm on the 7th. Logically, every part is slightly longer than the one before because you make longer and longer rows as you create, you know, your half circle shape. But yeah, I'm at the last one. By the way, this is where I have it. It's wintry themed, I know, but I love it so much that I just use it the whole year. So yeah, last color will be this blue. It will conclude that shawl very nicely with some like pop, basically. That will be so different from the rest that it will look really beautiful. And yeah, I will gift it perhaps during this month already, so I'm not sure if I will be able to show you the finished object. So let's take another look whilst we still can. Oof. It's a big boy. It's a big boy. Yeah, so almost there. Maybe a little bit more about the pattern. What I didn't tell you is that this pattern is by Sishomemade. That's a designer duo from Poland. They focus on these big shawls from colorful yarn, and this particular pattern, the Mandalove, was their knit along, of course, crochet along around 3 years ago. I think it was even for free at the time. I think so. And they released 7 parts of it throughout each week, I believe. And yeah, as a member of that crochet along, you got the pattern for free, and now I think it's for like $10 now, maybe a little bit more, 12, which maybe more than I usually spend on patterns, for example on Ravelry, but in the same time I really can recommend this pattern. This is perhaps the 6th that I'm making already. Every row is different. There is no repetition of the pattern, so it has maybe around 80 plus rows, and it really goes like all the way different motifs, different like techniques, so you don't have, you know, a lot of patterns have like 20 rows of pattern and then you just repeat it. This is not the case. So I think it's really worth the money, even though it might be slightly more pricey than others, but it's very elaborate, very sophisticated, and I can definitely tell the inspiration behind it was like Indian mandalas. It really does fulfill that. So yeah, almost at the end of this, I will be able to take it as a finished object next month, but as I said, maybe I won't be able to show you, so I'll at least try to create some nice pictures. Now, still being on the old ones, moving to socks. You're perhaps used to see a finished pair of socks from me every month as well. That's not the case either, but I was at least working on them. So I do have a finished sock, not socks. So I'm working on some scrappy socks. So these are my scrappy Kingfisher vanilla socks. They are knitted based on pattern Basic Socks That Rock from Petra Machova Kourilova. I am telling you about this pattern every time because I just use it all the time. So once again, I'm using this pattern. since this is a scrappy project, I was calculating the yarn usage a little bit at the beginning and figured I perhaps don't have enough of the main color, which is this one. So I'm using 3 colors. For the cuff, I'm using Filcolana Arwetta in the off-white color, I believe. For the main part, I'm using Westyorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply self-striping yarn in the color Kingfisher from their Country Birds collection. Again, and then heel for the toes, I'm using a leftover from Priadka Harry Potter Club from last year. So altogether, I'm hoping to consume this one entirely, and this is almost a brand new ball, so this is just, you know, to complete the yardage basically. And I'm at the very beginning of the second sock. I can show you what I have. So yeah, this is what I have for the main color, and this is what I have for the orange color. Wish me luck. I don't want to play yarn chicken, but I don't want to have some bigger leftover either. I'm trying to, you know, work on my leftovers, so yeah, small progress there. And this is basically my traveling project. So done. Now, oops, I'll just move some things around here. A second pair of socks, a competing traveling project. That's why I didn't finish the first one. Is another pair of socks, and it's from this yarn. Yeah, this is winded pre-winder. So this is a merino sock base from Chromatic Yarns, aka the Corner of Craft, in the color Big Moon, Little Moon. It's inspired by Critical Role third campaign. Yeah, so Chromatic Yarns, Hannah from Chromatic Yarns is making is a yarn dyer, and she is making all her colorways around Dungeons and Dragons and Critical Role. So this was her club last year, and I am using it for a pair of socks for my boyfriend. Now, I finished one as well. So technically I finished 2 socks, almost a finished object, right? So yep, this one is a finished sock, almost. I just need to cut the... Now, it's not the same pattern. This is Nutmeg socks by Tania Barley, and it's a fairly standard sock pattern. It just has some little features. So it has these like, I don't know how to call it. It's basically you pick 3 stitches as when you want to knit 2 together or knit 3 together. Then you knit through it. Don't remove the stitches from the needle yet. Then you yarn over one and then knit through it for the second time. So there's no decreases, no increases, but you basically knit 3 together, but also create 3 stitches out of it. And that creates this like triangular shape-ish. And it creates these little bits here. It's used also for the cuff, and it has slightly different construction of the heel. I mean, it's the same as for the vanilla socks that I'm using. It's this like rectangular shape that you create from half of your leg. Then you create the turn by making some decreases, and then you pick up these sides. This is the same, but it has yarn. It has slip stitches with yarn in front, so it creates slightly different texture, and it's really beautiful. So easy pattern to make for me because it's a construction that I'm aware of very well. And yeah, I'm also traveling with it. So this is fun, already made. It's slightly smaller than my boyfriend need, but I'm hoping I will be able to block it sufficiently. It really needs just a little bit. And yeah, I also started the second one. Yeah, so that's another hope for next month. I think I will be able to finish both of these. And the last old work in progress that I have, drum rolls please, it's Nivalis. I'm talking about this project for such a long time, and I told you already all about its like hiccups and troubles. I won't be repeating it, but for me, this project is like a little bit cursed. I had so many issues with it, ripped it several times, etc. But now I think I'm on a good way to make progress in it. So, I talked about it 2 months ago, perhaps, when I was here. And since then, I created this part of the body. It's almost done. I'm already making the bottom ribbing. And, oops, yay, almost there for the body. I'm having my own alteration here, as you can perhaps tell. The original pattern only has color work here on the yoke. It has a different neckline, I guess, as well. It doesn't have the 2x2 ribbing, it just has knitting, so it creates a little fold here. When I was making it for the first time, I followed the instructions, but I didn't like the effect it made, and it was really rolling up so much that I was even afraid what the heck what will happen next. So I don't know, it's perhaps my tension. It's definitely not the problem of the pattern. I saw so many finished objects that had this original type of the neckline and it looked beautifully. I don't know what I did wrong, but yeah, it didn't work for me. So I created a standard neck that I'm used to, and now I'm also making the same pattern that is here on the bottom, and I will be finishing with this yellow color. 2 reasons here why I've chose to do so. First is that I have quite a lot of the contrast color and I didn't want to leave it be, basically, so I decided that I will use some more. Second is this sweater is for me planned to be used as a cozy cosplay for Trisranunku from The Witcher. It copies the colors from her alternative look from the 3rd game. I will post it here. And it has slightly more of those yellow accents on that green color. So I decided that I will make more too, and it will hopefully look really nicely. I plan to do something similar also on the sleeves at the end, so we'll see how it will go. Yeah, so yeah, I made some progress on this one. Some. It still goes very slowly, but at least it goes. It reminds me, this could be perhaps the theme of this monthly podcast. Jena from the Finnish Knitting Stories recently on one of her podcasts said something like, it's better than nothing. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. So this is my theme today as well. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. And we're getting there, right? Now, on to the new ones. I have 3 basically. 2 knitted and 1 spinning. So first of all, on the 3rd of June, so basically a month ago, I casted on something that I was working on very much throughout the whole month. It's a shawl. How to introduce this? I was looking very much to find a pattern that I can use my Advent minis on. I have had it's early in the morning here, so sorry. I had 2 advent calendars with yarn last year. One produced sock yarn 24 20-gram minis, and another one was 25 20-gram minis, but 100% merino. And so obviously I cannot use this for socks. So I was looking for something like a shawl or a sweater, and I had some patterns that made it to my like clothes selection, but I don't know what happened. Then one day I just woke up. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a shawl and I thought, this could work well with a fade. So I scratched all the other, you know, carefully selected patterns and I just cast it on something completely, yeah, spontaneously. And I'll show you. So first about the yarn, it's, as I said, it's 100% merino. It's by Decida, which is a Czech, yarn dyer. And her colorway, she had several colorways for advent calendars. Sorry. And one of them was called Earth and Water, I believe. And it went from like dark blues, petrol colors through beige all the way to dark browns. I see it something like a deep sea, beach, and then mountains perhaps, or something like a more earthy, logically. So I've cast it on and started with the blue tones. I'll try to show you a little bit. It's very nice. My apologies. Yeah. I'll perhaps have to have a drink. Just a moment. Don't podcast without a drink on your side. So, apologies for that. I'll show you once more. So, it's an aloft shawl. It's by Bekah Knits, and it's a pattern that's featured in the book 52 Weeks of Shawls by Line magazine. The original is, I think that the original is from like grey color, so it's monotone. But I thought it would look very beautiful with the fade. Now, so far I got to this like very light blue beige. As you can tell, I don't bother with fading it. I just knit until my ball is done, and then I take just another color. So this advent calendar was meant as a fade, so the colors are very close, sometimes closer, sometimes less. As you can see, for example, here right now, I finished one that is very, yeah, you can clearly tell that there's a new one, but from the distance I think it will still be beautiful. So yeah, this is how far I am. I think I used, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I finished 9 colors out of 25. So we still have a lot to go through. But yeah, the wider the lines, the rows are, the lower amount of rows I will get done with one skein. Yeah, this is the color that I'm at now. It's more color toned. Sorry, the light is odd today, but yeah, this is, I'm really slowly going from the blue tones to the beige and to the warm tones, hot tones of the beige and the brown. My next colors are these, I think. So they still have blue tones there, but much more of the beige. Then I have this one that is more on the red side. Ooh, and it's falling apart. More on the red side, but it will look beautifully. And then I'll show you the rest in this like little chaotic bunch. Here we go. Yeah, so I have some really light like beige here, some very red toned ginger, copper colors, and then it goes all the way to this brown, dark brown, I believe so. Yeah, so I still have quite a lot left that I need to go through. I will work through this project, you know, slowly as I will want. It has no deadline. I was really excited for it, so I knitted a lot throughout last month, but I don't think that I will keep that pace, especially now with the Tour de Fleece and everything. But yeah, I will keep going. So yeah, that's first new cast on. Second, housed in this project bag by Bad Omens, is my my second ranunculus. So I casted on this thing a week ago on the 25th. My first ranunculus had a couple issues. I don't think that I made the neckline wide enough as I wanted. I used smaller needles because I assumed I have very loose tension, so it will be okay. It wasn't. It really was smaller than I needed it to be. So I basically made the largest size even. It's very large. Yeah, on me, I wanted that oversized look. But yeah, I think I made really the largest part. This time I used correct needles. I did some alterations to have really a wide neckline, so I think it will do. It's really wide now, maybe 2 and 2. I don't know, too much. And I'm using this color. It's Merino Singles by Labianime in the colorway Air Guitar. Half of the skin is different shades of gray, half of the skin is different shades of neon. So altogether it creates a chaos that I love. I had 3 skins, and these were one of the first things that I winded in my yarn winder, and you can see how beautiful they are. Yeah, and I can pull from the center and it's beautiful. So yeah, working slowly on that. And now onto the project. Now the pattern is by Midori Hirose. That's a Japanese designer, I believe. And the ranunculus pattern is something that's perhaps the most popular pattern on Ravelry. Everyone knows of it. Most of the knitters made it. Some people have, you know, 5+ versions of it. I might be one of them in the future. But yeah, anyways, this is how it looks like so far. I am basically about to separate the sleeves. Let me see. Where is... Yeah, this is the center back, so this is the center floor. As you can see, the neckline's really wide enough this time. Okay, so yeah, this looks better. So I will show you from the back because that's where the needles are. So it's not that that's like you know, meshed together. So I'm not altering skins yet. I don't know if I should. I mean, right now I was at the decreases and the yoke has some lace patterns on it, so I really thought, you know, I will just carry on with the first, or with the single color, single skin, because it will change in every row anyways. Now I finished the lace part, I finished the raglan bit. It was really short. Now I'm sticking to my size, so we'll see. I think that the raglan had just like 8 rows, 6 increases, something like that. And now I will be separating and then I will see what will I do. Maybe I will start altering the skins just to make sure there's no pulling. But at the same time, I kind of want it to pull because I love when the neons are together, like here. Oops. It looks beautifully. And here there's more of that. Oops. Well, that's a way how to show you a project. There's more of the gray, and that looks beautiful too. I don't know. I'll play with it somehow, but it goes really quickly. I think I was only working on it maybe for like 3 days out of the week, and yeah, made a huge progress on it. Another new cast on. And the last thing that I have here that I want to speak about is a spinning work in progress, and I'm having everything's on the floor. Never mind. Okay, so I spun a ball of yarn. It looks awful, but it won't for long. So I initiated my Tour de Fleece yesterday by spinning half of this bed. What I find really funny is, you know, you look like how large this is, and then you just transform it into this. That's funny. So this is a bed from Mokoša, the same, the same package that I showed you at the beginning, and I'm just trying to figure out what. Yeah, here are my contents. 90% Suffolk, 10% Romney. So this is what the content is. It's dyed, logically, and this is how my first single looks like. It's overspun for the reason that I will then spin it in 2-ply. I will ply it. So today the plan is to make a sister for her. And I will perhaps wait for one day to let it set just a little bit, both of them. This one is already setting. And then on Monday I will perhaps ply it together. I find spinning 2-plies or 3-plies so much easier than spinning like single, because plying is very forgiving. It will lose that twist and just create something that looks okay even though it's not. So as you can tell, this has a lot of differences. It's very inconsistent, and yeah, I am very rusty. I didn't spin for a very long time, so it shows. But at the same time, I'm confident that the result will look beautifully. So yeah, that's my last work in progress. Let's go to see what the cosplay news are. Okay, so I made a little progress on my cosplays. So I'm only going to be talking about pike trick foot. That's my main focus now, and I have several pieces of that cosplay that I need to work on. So first of all, I was working on this piece that I still didn't name. It's something that will be sitting on my waist, and here on the sides there will be these like gathered pieces, and on the front and on the back I will have these like longer pieces that are now painted with the symbol of the Everlight, of the deity of this beautiful character and cleric character. So I was painting those with golden textile paint. I didn't use, well, for this edge colorings, I didn't use any pattern at all. And for this motif here, I cut it from the paper, marked it on the fabric, and then I just colored like colors, how is it called, painting by numbers, something like that. I just, you know, marked my shape and then I just colored it as in the kindergarten. It was fun. So this piece is almost done. The only part that I have left is that I have to, now it's pinned, I have to sew all these parts together, and then on the back there will be maybe a lacing or a zipper or something, just to, you know, be able to put it on. So yeah, that's almost done. Now, the second bit that I started working on, but it's at the very beginning stage, is a corset. Here are my pattern parts. A corset that I will be making for pipe. It will be brown. I don't have the color. I don't have the pattern. I don't have the fabric. Not color, not pattern, fabric. For the outer layer yet, I only have some corset cotton fabric. It's a thick fabric that I am using for the lining, just to make sure that the whole piece will hold its shape. And I also use it as a mock-up in the same time. So I already cut the pieces. So this is how it looks like. It's a very, I don't know, natural colored fabric. And I already pinned it together, tried it on. I'm happy with the size. The only thing that I will do is that when I cutted it, I also cut here some extra, maybe 1 centimeter, like allowance. The allowance is not needed here because I will be putting a bias tape on the top and on the bottom. And I was trying on, it really was a little bit too higher than I would want it. And it's an underbust corset, so I don't want it to be too high because it will be pushing to my parts, and that's not going to be comfortable. So I will be just cutting these upper parts here to make sure that they are okay. I will buy the outer fabric, and then I will be able to transfer these pieces on the second fabric along with all these lines, and these are important. See, this is I make a very big seam allowances for corsets. First, to be able to alter it when I'm working on it. Second, I find it much more easier to work with. There will be a lot of pressure on the corset, so it really has to be somehow, I don't know, it just works for me. And then these lines, this is waist and these are apprapes. So it's also very important to mark these then when you're putting the pieces together so it fits really properly. This corset is made from 11 pieces. Originally it was 12, but I will only have, because it was, I think the original pattern has lacing in the back and then these like opening the hook, I don't know, another opening on the front. But I don't have anything. I plan to have it plain in the front, so I just consolidated 2 pieces together and it will be just 1 front piece. So mine has 11 pieces. Next month I really need to figure out the fabric. I need to start sewing this together and then work on the boning too. That's going to be a challenge. I didn't do it for a very long time, but yeah, it will be good. The last bit that I need to figure out for this corset is I want to decorate it somehow. I don't want, well, it will be plain brown, which for one side it's fine because she wears like a brown vest basically, or it's maybe a leather armor originally, I don't know, but it's very plain and I thought it's a good vibe for her because I will have some foam armor on top of it, so it will be not much visible even, but in the same time I like creating those special touches that will turn like a standard brown corset to something that will really say, okay, this belongs to a cleric pike. So I'm trying to figure out maybe some flossing that will be in a theme and it will make it special. I'll see. So yeah, that's the current state of things. And that's also the end of the cosplay section today. Okay, and the last thing that I have today is that I wanted to speak about my socks. As you can tell, I love knitting socks, And throughout the year and a half of knitting, I already made maybe 20 pairs of it. Some were gifted to members of my family or friends, and some are mine because I love wearing them as well. So I thought I will show you how my collection looks like today, and also I might talk about how they wear, how they look like after several months of wearing, and what I find nice and not so nice, etc. So first of all, I wash my socks in washing machine. That's, you know, something that I just do because I refuse to wash socks, you know, like just in hand. I found it too manual basically. So whenever I'm making some socks, I'm knitting them knowing that I will use the washing machine, and I can already tell that maybe some of the hand-dyed yarn is fading a bit thanks to that, but in the same time I have some pairs that I was wearing so much and washing often that I really expected this to happen. So it's not a big deal. I wear all the pairs that I will be showing you. Some are newer, some older, but yeah, I can also tell you how comfortable they are. So let's do it. I separated the socks into three sections basically. I will start with the vanilla ones. So you already know that I'm using the basic socks that rock pattern by Petra Machova Kourilova, and I will show you the very first pair of socks. Let's start with it that I made. Yeah. So these are the socks. They are made from Harry Potter sock yarn club by Priadka. This, I believe, this colorway, I believe, was inspired by Rita Skeeter, and the green color, I think it's quite still at the original shade, but there's like a purple color that's combined with, and it's very faded. That's just you know, yeah, it's just a shadow of the original color. But again, it's the first pair that I made. I made the leg too long. Maybe this part is quite good, but it's also quite wide, so they don't fit as well, but they're first again. And I still wear it. I still wear it mostly at home, but yeah. This is the first pair. The second looks very similar. It's from the same yarn. It's just different colors, partially. So leftover from the first one. You can tell that I didn't wear and wash these so much because they're much more intense. So this color is much closer to the original one. And then I also used two minis. And I can show both of them to you because I used, like, for those minis, I made them, you know, opposite. So this one starts with the yellow and has like the orange heel. This one starts with the orange, has yellow heel, etc. all the way up here. So these again are slightly too big, slightly washed, but weared with love at home. Another pair still has its issues, but that's when I started working with my tensions much more. Again, Priadka, Harry Potter Club. Originally white and purple, well, not purple, fuchsia pink, I think. Now the white is already pinkish because it's just, you know, yeah, it bled into each other a little bit. And along with it, the petrol mini from the same dyer, also slightly too big, but that's because I noticed that I had a very loose tension, like even more than at the beginning. By the way, I'm knitting all my socks as 2.0 needles, millimeter needles. So that's small, that's very small. And even though I did that, the stitches were too big, basically. So somewhere around the second sock, toes and leg, I started really being more mindful of my tension. And yeah, it showed. It was much better then. So I was able to finish the socks in a way that I wanted, but there again ended up a little bit too big. Now, we'll skip a little bit because I had a period when I was making different socks than vanilla. Bless you. And we'll move to self-striping yarn. So these are by far my favorite socks. Same pattern, they're just made out of self-striping yarn. Westyorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply Country Birds collection, mentioned several times today already. This is the colorway Mollard, and I still have some left over, so I might make another one. And this was the first pair that had the right size for me, so it's much shorter on the leg. That's my preferred length, basically, and it's really sitting nice on my feet as well. I wear it the most, and that's why they already have some issues here on the bottom, and I will need to fix them a little bit, but it's fine. They're waiting for it now. I think their doom was my last trip to Prague. I was wearing them in shoes, and it was really rainy, and even though I have an umbrella, I got completely soaked from knees down. And the wet socks in the wet shoes, I think it, you know, the moves of my feet, it really made it react much more, and it got almost destroyed. So it felt it much more, but it also have some issues. I can show you perhaps one part, but I don't know if you'll be able to see. There is a way part here where the yarn is hanging by the thread, basically. So yeah, I will have some work with these, but I really want to continue wearing them, so I will dedicate my time. And the last vanilla sock pair that I made was from last month, and these are from, let me find what's the name of the yarn. Here, Alize Superwash. And these are again self-striping, same pattern, and I wore them several times already. They are very comfortable, but I'm not able to tell yet what's the durability of the yarn. So far so good, but it's too soon to judge. Moving on to another section, and that's this book, 52 weeks. Why am I 52 weeks of socks? Why do I have 52 weeks of shawls here? Sorry, 52 weeks of socks. Forget I showed you anything. So I have the book. Wow, fail. 52 weeks of socks, and I also have the one for shawls, obviously, but I decided that eventually I will make all the patterns from it. Now, that was ambitious. I made 4 so far, but I frocked one of them because I really didn't like it, so technically it's still a tick, but yeah, I won't have that one finished. The first one I gifted to my dad because it was too big. Second one are these Avena socks, I believe. I made them again from Priadka Sock Club, and they have these like dipped stitches, is it the name? throughout the whole sock, and it took ages to make it. It took ages. Yeah, slightly. I mean, they are comfortable. I wear them at home because they are a little bit too thick to be worn in the shoes, especially because the pattern goes all the way even to the heel and everything. It has a very special construction. Even the feet. There's been, wait a second. I will just. The feet, basically there's this heel turn, then there is a special part where you knit every other stitch and then you just slip, you know, you knit slip, and then you purl slip, and it's like always it's created this like weird mid-layer fabric that is beautiful, and I think it will be highly durable, but it was so lengthy. It took ages. And then you slowly transition here into this like normal leg with the elaborate pattern on the top still, and then you decrease using the twisted knit stitches like this. So this was a piece of art, this was a work of art for me, but it took way longer than I would want, but I'm wearing them and they are comfortable. And the third pattern that I made is, or then I made the one I frogged, and the fourth one is these branches socks. They are longer than I'm used to, but I wear them turned like this. And I'll show you just one so you can admire it. It's lace all the way through. There are these different parts, and then there is this quite standard heel turn and up. Again, I will have to, yeah, and a normal leg with the pattern on the top and the stockinette on the bottom and standard toe. So all these, both of these that I shown you were worked top down, and both of them I use a lot. And I think the next one in line, I'm really going from the first pattern all the way through the next one. I'm not skipping. So I'm now at the pattern 5, and it's one that I really like. I don't have the book here with me. Why am I opening 52 weeks of shawls? So yeah, it's something that I might be doing soon as well. But I have a lot of socks in progress, so I won't be too hasty about that. Now the last section is like everything else basically. I started making socks from the West Knit Years of Socks 2023, which is a sock collection by Stephen West. I made the first ones a couple months ago. I have the second one in progress. I do enjoy it. It's just cables. I'm not a big cable girl, so I'm working on it very slowly, but these I finished rather quickly. These were nice stash and leftover busting socks, because you can use really different colors. It doesn't matter how many you use, and you just, you know, work on your leftovers. And then I was also making some patterns from a different designers. Well, I have two of them here. Both are by Tania Barley. Both were test knits. These are Nutmeg socks, the ones that I also work on now. They are from Regia Yak Merino, I think so. I'm not sure now. I know there's yak inside. I'm sorry, there's also some grass inside now. So they are from yak, and you can tell there is a big difference in color between the leg and the feet. So the gray part, that's the yak, and as I wash it, it becomes felted on some places, or where I wear it and it's in contact with something else, it just disappears. It would go, you know, it it would just stick to something else and leave the sock. So I guess this part is now completely without the yak content. That's maybe 15-20% of yak, and this remains here in these like felted pieces that I don't like much because it, can you tell it has a pattern? It's not visible too much, yeah. So I love wearing them. These are perhaps my second really favorite pair of socks that I wear all the time because they fit so nicely, but the material is a slight disappointment. And the last pair of socks that I will be talking about are these. They're called Hobhouse. They're from Shopelbole Zauberball, crazy. And they look weird, but I swear they are nice because they are worked. They're worked basically in like a knit pearl pattern all the way, so they're very flexible. And when I do like this, you can see that they also have a little bit of a pattern here. So there's twisted knitted stitches and pearl stitches all the way in the leg. Very interesting construction of the heel. So instead of like the standard heel turn, you start adding stitches here that will create, you know, that wide area that you need for your ankles and such. And then you start decreasing here, and that's the turn basically. So it's very different. It looks weird, but it looks nice on the legs. Sorry, my voice is really failing me today. And that's also the last pair that I have. I should perhaps say apologies for showing you the socks that are slightly nasty because they've been worn, but they are all washed, I swear. But yeah, I do use them. At least you have a proof that it's not something that's just, you know, in my wardrobe without even ever touching it. I really love wearing them at home or, you know, also outside. And I really think this is something that was missing in my life before. So I will make really a lot more. I am gifting socks to a lot of people and they really enjoy it. My boyfriend is really looking forward to get his second pair very soon. And yeah, my parents wear it too. My dad absolutely loves it. My mom is like, yeah, you know, I was forced to wear it when I was a kid, so I'm not too excited about it. But then when she sees my dad being so excited, she's like, okay, yeah, you can get me one too. So she already got 2 pairs as well. My dad got 3, I think. Yeah, 3. And my mom too. And then I also gifted some to my friends. So yeah, definitely a sock knitter here. And this also concludes the talk about my crafting today. So I thank you very much for stopping by, for listening to my slightly less consistent English and talk today. I will insert again some footage from my previous month here. I attended a little event yesterday, basically around hobbits and cooking in the nature, which was really interesting. So I will put some footage from it here, but not much. I didn't want to, you know, take my camera out and kind of go outside of my role too often. But I really enjoyed it. It was nice. And I was knitting there as well. And people were like, yeah, you're making socks. So that was fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next 2 months because that's officially a holiday period here in Czech Republic. So I expect that people will be much more relaxed. Those that have kids, you know, they will be just trying to figure out the kids that are at home now. But I think that also at work it will be slightly more, yeah, summery, relaxed. And I also plan some holidays too next month. I will spend a week traveling with my boyfriend. We will go to Prague, we will go to some other cities in Czech Republic. And then I will spend 2 weeks, one of which will be a holiday, second one I will be working from home. I can work remotely. But I will spend 2 weeks at my parents' place, and they live in a house with a garden, so I always appreciate being there. You know, I'm much more in touch with nature there, and I can craft outside, and it's really nice. So that's my plan for next month. I hope you have some nice plans for summer too, that either traveling or just, you know, staycation at home, having a nice time. And yeah, I will see you in a month again, hopefully with more finished objects, but for sure there will be a lot to talk about. You know me. So enjoy summer, and yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.